going to give you this mic back. But what I'm going to say to the ladies that been told that you cannot have, you tell the devil you's a liar.
Listen. Oh, she had another message. She said, I'm sorry, this is so effing long. I'm just not the best with summarizing. Neither am I. So I pretty much told everything about those situations. I messed up a lot writing this. I really should have relooked. But my mom threw a plastic jug thing at my head. Really, girl.
And the lights get up. Slow motion, I freeze you, watch me sample me, reduce me to soundbite give me, no don't you, just nod your head. Don't try to change it, I said what I said. Hit you with a playback, I said what I said. Look what I did.
That's the jug is not why you missed a few things. You're obviously this was an emotionally charged email. You're obviously feeling the type of way. And if this was recently, it's okay. It's okay. Like, people make mistakes. I mean, I understood you, right? So I don't even know how to make this really short. This video is already super long, and I'm not really sorry about that because you asked for my help. But anywho, real quick, I just want to say that I think you and I both know that it's time for you to go. I know that you're 15 years old, but that's exactly the point. You're 15 years old, and at 15, when you're looking for apartments, as I was, I left when I was 15, by the way, in case you didn't know that. But see, so I understand, you're looking for apartments already. You're already fixed on this afterlife, the time after this, but you can only get to the time after this once you overcome and conquer where you are right now. And I understand that this is a really, really bad time because of the virus and because everybody's stuck at home and you can't really get a job. But one, look for online jobs. Look for things that you can do from home. If you have a phone, if you have a computer, a laptop, you're in a good standing. However, ultimately, I would say that everything I say is going to circle back to me saying that you have to go and suggesting that you leave, even if that means you call a shelter. I mean, obviously on your own time and plan it out. But with your dad touching you and you not feeling comfortable enough to tell your grandma, first of all, I got a question. Did your grandma pull the gun out on your dad because she knows that he's touching you? Does your dad have a job? Is he an essential worker? Is your dad always around? Are you able to confide in your grandma to tell her what's going on? Because hey, if she's boss enough to pull a gun out on your dad once, I'm guessing she'll do it again if she finds out what he's been doing. For you to be so upset, for him to be so close to you, personally, you cannot live in the same house as your rapist. You cannot live in the same house as someone who's molesting you. You're not going to be okay. You're not going to be able to look over your shoulder and feel like you're comfortable and you're safe and secure, especially during this time. Everybody's at home. I'm so sorry. This is such a terrible position for you to be in. I feel so bad for you, but I don't pity you. I don't. I feel for you to write this email to me, for you to have found me, obviously it shows that your spirit wants something better and knows that better exists. You don't start looking for better. You don't start looking for more unless you know that it is really out there. And I'm glad that you know that it's out there. But now you have to go get it. Now you're going to have to evict yourself from this situation. I can already tell because you don't have an ally. I'm so heated I can't even talk straight. I'm heated for you, girl. I will call the police for you. But this is your fight. This is your fight. And you're 15. That's a ripe enough age to know, to be able to say, fuck this shit. And look out. Look out at the world. And realize anything is better than where you are right now. Once you've made that decision, you grow a little bit. You gain a little bit of strength. Like, you toughen up a little bit because you understand that, like, literally anything is better than what you're dealing with right now. Your grandma, I don't know if she's an ally. I don't know if she can protect you. What if something happens to your grandma? God forbid, tu sabe, pero like, what if something happens to your grandma? And then you're left in that house with your dad? You're gonna end up pulling out. That, I mean, I'm not trying to say like this is like for real or this is your fate, but you could very well end up pulling a knife out or pulling a pot out on your dad. And how awful would it be if one day you just couldn't take it anymore? Because your boiling point is going to come. Everybody has a boiling point, you sabe? And for you to be in this place with your dad, for you to be so uncomfortable and to be so unsafe, and obviously your body is defending you, for you to start crying, that's a sign of you being overwhelmed. So again, you have a bit of like, I'm not gonna say common sense, obviously you do, but like, you have a level of awareness that is trying to protect you and trying to show you something. But ultimately, you have to open your mouth and say enough, basta. You have to open your mouth and say enough is enough. That's just what's going to have to happen at some point, because it does not sound like anybody is there to help you. And I mean, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, because at 15, you should be doing your thing, enjoying. I mean, yes, there's a virus and stuff, but like typically, like if we weren't in a pandemic, you should be enjoying like the last few years of your youth. You get to be a child for such a short amount of time. A short amount of time, bro. And when you are exposed to such adverse and really like precarious and insecure situations, like your living situations, when you're exposed to that sort of thing, I feel like your childhood is like immediately ripped away from you, because now your day-to-day is about protecting yourself. It's about surviving, and learning to survive is something that adults do. Figuring out how to manage your bills, how to manage anything that's a priority for adults out there, those you who pay bills and stuff like that, that's supposed to come later for kids. But that's just idealistic as fuck at this point, because more and more I see that we are raising ourselves. I was literally 15 years old, running away from my house in the middle of the night with a fucking garbage bag and a plastic bag of clothes. The damn garbage bag had more things in it than the bag of clothes did. But I would do it all over again. Maybe with a different person, maybe not, because I wouldn't be where I am ahora. And ahora, I'm definitely in a better position than I was 5 years ago when I was your age and dealing with fugazi ass shit like this. So, I mean, the fact that you found me, I'm glad about it. And I do think that there is hope for you. I do feel like maybe your spirit knows something that wait a minute, I got to go. This is long anyway, so no, actually I have time. Okay, so wait, first of all, when I say I got to go, I understand we're in a pandemic. I'm just stepping out real quick. But I feel like your spirit most likely knows something that my spirit knew when I was your age, and maybe that's why you found me. But yeah, honestly, I know that like you're gonna take your own advice. You're gonna do whatever makes the most sense to you. And I know you don't really like know my story and like in detail. I haven't like meticulously broken down what my experiences have been, but you did inspire me to like share more examples, because just like you, I did have situations, I did have instances that led me to say, again, F this shit. I just got to a point where I'm like, no one is looking out for me. Really quickly, I mean, I was being touched inappropriately by a couple of people in my house. I mean, in the household. I was being abused. My sister had the authority to abuse me. And then of course my parents were abusing me in various ways. So it's like, trust me, girl, I had a boiling point, and I didn't have like a psychotic break. I didn't stab anybody. I didn't ever let myself get to that point. But what I did do is take it out on myself. And I did believe that I was less than. And I did believe that I was ugly and worthless. And I did start to agree with what my siblings and my parents and kids at school said. And that is the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do when other people are putting you down is put yourself down. When other people are treating you worse or treating you horribly, the worst thing that you can do is go ahead and participate in that. You have to, and it's hard, but you have to be the only one, or you will be the only one sometimes, who believes in you. But that's all you need, because if you believe in you and God or the universe, I don't know if you're religious or spiritual, I'm kind of both, girl, I lean both ways. So God and the universe will understand that in your heart, you know your strength in your heart. You know that you are worthy. And as long as you believe that you are worthy and deserving, you will not tolerate people who treat you as if you are other than. You just won't tolerate it. And my friend, my dear good friend, girl, you know who you are. She said to me one time, like right before I was evicted from a situation, she said to me, you know that you've had enough when you choose not to take it anymore. And I think that, I'm sorry, she said, you know that you've had enough when you choose not to take it anymore. And I think that for me, what that did was activate a strength, activate an ability that I didn't even realize that I had, which was my choice. You have a choice. And sometimes we forget that, and then other times we know we have a choice. But we will choose to sabotage ourselves as opposed to doing the uncomfortable thing. The uncomfortable thing is to leave. Any bad situation, any marriage, any bad relationship, any bad job, it's always harder to get the courage, the cojones, to say, adios, puta madre cabrona. I'm just kidding, don't say that. But we don't, I feel like it's much harder to walk out of a circumstance and not know what is to come, because we are afraid of what we can't see. We are afraid of what we don't know. But that's where your own faith, I got so much faith. Listen, real quick. When I'm in the car with my boyfriend and he's like, babe, we're not going to have any parking. You're going to have to jump out. I hate having to jump out. I'm like, no, I don't want to jump out. So I'll be like, no, I'm not going to jump out. We're going to have parking. Trust and believe there will be parking. Don't even worry about it. God has got me. God, you already know what to do, brother. Ya tu sabes. So we pull up to the place, and guess what? There's parking every single time. Now, maybe it's not the same one, but I got faith, bro. I got faith for days, and it's because I done been through it. When I tell you, I done been through it, like really been through it, bro, really. And I'm not saying more than anybody else. I'm just saying, like, I know for me, I have already gotten to my rock bottom, suicidal, God, come get me, bro, right now type of moment. I've already had that. And I'm sensing that you probably have as well. Sounds like your family has been like this for some time. And so I think that you have a choice. It may feel like it's a lot, or it may feel like you don't have much power at all. You know, it may feel like a heavy burden, but then like you're powerless at the same time. You're not. You actually have a choice. You can choose yourself, or you can choose what is the most comfortable. And when your dad is in your face, the same dude that touches you inappropriately, Lord have mercy, girl. If I knew what state you were in, if I knew a few more details, I would probably call a hotline on your ass just to get you out of there. But I want to give you the opportunity to, first, I don't even know all those details, so it would be hard. But I also just want to give you the opportunity to plan. When I left my situation, I packed my bags. The 2 bags I had, I don't know why I keep holding up 4 fingers whenever I say 2, but the 2 bags that I had, I packed those a week prior and shoved them shits underneath my bed. So when it was time to go, oh, I got out of there. When my mom was on the phone talking about something, we're gonna beat you and style, we're gonna beat you. Like when when my mom was on the phone talking her shit, talking about telling my dad what I did and all that kind of stuff, all I had to do was text that message like, can you please come get me, grab my shit, and skedaddle. You gotta be able to, like, you gotta plan that stuff accordingly, even if you don't have someone who can help you. Because here's the thing, that dude that was meeting you under the tree, he knows your circumstances, and it sounds like he can't do much to help. It sounds like you need an older black woman in your life who is wise. For me, they've always been older black wise women. You need one of those that's not related to the fuck shit, who can help you, who will evict you from that circumstance. And you need to be able to do enough for yourself. I'm glad you look for apartments. I'm glad that you look for jobs, or at least you have an understanding that right now you have to wait. But that's the thing. Your grandma is going to tell you to wait and wait and wait, because your grandma is not you. Your grandma does not understand how you feel. What you are going to need is the dinero. You're going to need the money, because money is not everything. Money will not give you happiness, definitely not coming from a situation like that. But money is a tool. Money is a resource. Money is a tool that gives you access to other tools, other resources. And if you use your money wisely, you can get yourself things that can help you. And what you need is some help. What you need is somebody you can trust. Not a boy that you're thinking about, because, and then honestly, just real quick, the only reason my eyes dropped when you said that you had a boyfriend or this guy that you're dating is because one of the things that I definitely knew for sure as a person, definitely for sure, as a young person, is that boys and romance, all that kind of stuff has to come later. You don't have time for a boyfriend right now, because nobody, and when I say nobody, come on somebody, nobody can get you out of this circumstance like you and the universe will. But you got to have that alignment. You got to have that understanding that it's your time to go when it's your turn, when you decide that, and nothing can get in your way. Nobody. Because what will happen when you develop feelings for somebody is you're basing your situation and your decisions off of what this person wants. Oh, he's over here, so no. You have to understand, when you get into this mode of fending for yourself, you got to be your ally better than anybody else could ever be. You have to have your back, okay? Your side, your peripheral. You got to have every single angle of yourself. You got to have your back. You have to. And what that means is making sure no matter what the circumstance is, you are covered. You can pay for yourself. You have a place to stay. You don't want to depend on anybody for anything, especially when it comes to emotional support. Yes, we all need somebody. That is true. But we don't all always have somebody. Clearly you don't. Your boyfriend can't, or the guy, he can't help you all that much right now. He can listen to you, but at that age, honestly, like, what does he want? What does that little boy want? This is no disrespect to him, but yes, okay, so he wants a friendship, and then what? Do you have time for that? Do you have time to put yourself in a position where I know you say you're just dating, but girl, we all choose to leave out the details we're ashamed of. And I'm not trying to insinuate nothing, but just because you always got to think worst case scenario. If you had a child at the age of 16 with this kind of situation, the child will be in a terrible situation. You will be in an even worse one, because DCFS will come get that child. Who is going to come get you? They're going to look at you and say, well, she was fast enough and she was able to lay down and produce a child. That's something grown people do. That's something adults are supposed to be doing. You know, it's hard to look at a child as helpless and defenseless and stuff when they make grown decisions, when they talk like they're grown, when they talk like they're big and bad and all that kind of stuff, but can't pay a bill, can't get themselves out of a situation if they try to, can't write anything off because they're not authorized to. You don't want to be that person. So I'm not saying you can't talk to boys. I can't tell you what the hell to do at all. But I'm just saying, you said that you're dating somebody. I knew good and how well boys were not a part of the equation. I needed to look out for myself. You don't got time to be worried about anybody but yourself, quite frankly. You don't even got anybody you can trust. Unless that boy and that boy's mother and that boy's family is willing to help you, is willing to move you into their house, is willing to come cape for you, I don't understand what you're like. That situation needs to be nipped into the bud. Doesn't mean you can't talk to him. I'm just saying, make sure you got your priorities straight. You started this email off talking about the boyfriend or the guy so that you could set the stage up. And I hope that you didn't start off with him because he's the most important thing on your mind. Even if he's the only emotional escape that you have to become your emotional escape. Everything you needed somebody to be when you were younger, you have to be that now. Especially when you're talking about apartments, when you're talking about emancipation. Because girl, please, when you become an emancipated minor, it's not going to happen overnight, but you are going to realize that you can be in a room full of 17-year-old kids, 16-year-old kids. If they're drinking, they're smoking, yeah, y'all having fun. If the police roll up because somebody snitched, you're going to be lumped into a different category from these kids. Y'all are all the same age, yes, but you are legally an adult. You are legally an adult. So you are responsible and will be tried as an adult. You have to make sure that you are thinking responsibly, because the difference, one key difference between a child and adult is that responsibility. A child has the option to be concerned with life. You know, that's why it's cool and it's cute when a child talks like a grown-up, when a child has adult-like mannerisms, tú sabes? Or when a child is like talking about politics or if they understand anything, if they can recall like older artists like Marvin Gaye, Barry White, tú sabes? Like if they can talk about Al Green and how they used to listen to that and they're like 12, people are really impressed by that kind of thing. But that's a choice. An adult is expected. That's why people are surprised. You don't know this and this and this. You don't understand the difference. So as a 17-year-old, as a 16-year-old, you say you're turning 16 soon. You got to think like, you have to think responsibly. Not necessarily think like an adult, but you have to think responsibly. You have to think wisely. And you have to think, how does this help my future? How does this help my today? How does this help my tomorrow? And if it doesn't, don't entertain it. You have to think straight, because anything that you do, it can and will be used against you. That's a note from the GED. So I'm just kidding. I love DL Huey's podcast. He's always like, that's a note from the GED section. But yeah, I'm done rambling because I know this is like really super long. But like, I just wanted to respond to that. And you got me in my feelings for you, girl, because this is terrible. This is terrible in every way, shape, or form. Your dad, your stepdad, your grandma, your mom. Are you an only child? Do you not have siblings that you could call? You know, I'm really, that's just such a shame. But I got high hopes for you. I really do. Like, I feel like you're going to be probably looking back on your situation a few years from now like me, kind of like, wow, I can't believe I'm the same person who is like in the corner, like ready to kill herself, literally, because I just thought that there was no end to my misery. But it sounds like you know that there is. It sounds like you know there is a way. And hey, if you have to go to a group home for a little bit until you can get on your feet, is that the worst thing? My sister went to a group home. Another sister left and moved in with somebody that she knew. Another brother snuck out in the middle of the night. I left and moved in with somebody that I knew. And we were all, I was 15. Everybody else did it when they were older than me. But the point is obviously there was something wrong. There was a habitual issue with the parental structure in the household. If one by one we trickled off like this, one of them ended up in jail, like, obviously there were things my parents were not doing right. Instead of you ending up in jail or ending up on the streets, ending up like a hooker, ending up in situations where more people will take advantage of you, I'd really like to see and hear back from you one day that you're actually doing better off. Doing better, and like that you're well off, and that you're safe, and that you have people who love you. Life is way more like fruitful and worth living, actually worth being here. Like, bro, I said before, God, come get me, but now I'm like, can you hold my plane ticket, please? Because I'm not ready to go anymore. Like, I actually want to see how it unfolds, and I really pray that for you, and I really hope that you get to experience that turnaround, you know, that like 180 degree shift in perspective. It's life-changing, literally. So yes, on that note, I will say tata mi amor. Take care.
Gonna give you this mic back. But what I'm gonna say to the ladies that been told that you cannot have, you tell the devil you're a liar.